a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
I stopped and looked around, and suddenly, I remembered this place too. About 50 yards in front of us, the river spread out into a swampy area, a mess of slow-moving tributaries cutting a shallow depression through the desert. Marsh grass grew tall along the banks. There must have been some kind of surveillance, its being an international border and all, but I couldn't spot any. I'd been here, in Ba form. I could picture a hut right there in the marsh, Isis and young Horus hiding from Set. And just downriver, that's where I'd sensed something dark, moving under the water, waiting for me.
Welcome to Of the Eldest Gods, where we discuss Rick Riordan's role as a godly parent.
I'm Raye, following the path of Geb.
And I'm Charlie, following the path of Bast.
Oh my god. She's fine.
You don't know that.
She's a goddess. Last I checked, goddesses can't die. That's for all you epic heads out there.
Ooh, okay. I was like, what is this reference? What's happening? Guess what? Pan died. So anything is possible if you just believe, babe.
She's fine.
I hope so. I certainly hope she's fine. You know what? Let's talk about it. Bast keeps a promise. Is that correct?
Yes. Good chapter title. It's one of our more dramatic ones instead of one of our comedic-based ones. And it is effective. You, as the audience, know that is an omen. And it prepares you to get into some shit. And then we do.
An ill omen.
Exactly. Okay. Let's do the thing. Okay.
Let's do the thing, yeah.
Bast took everybody to El Paso because it's a good spot to summon Nephthys, apparently. Literally, right on the Mexico border. That's the place. Carter feels like something bad is about to happen, but no one's paying any attention to him because they're busy communing with a goddess or whatever. A family of immigrants is entering America, and Carter decides to mind his business about that because he is based, but then they get attacked by enormous magic crocodile, and that, is Carter's business. So he goes and helps with that. That was the bad thing that was going to happen. Another crocodile gets to Sadie, and she's passed out for the rest of the chapter. Sobek, the crocodile god guy, he is also here now. Carter gets warned not to get grabbed, not just one, but 2 times, and then he gets grabbed. He escapes though, he's fine, and he and Bast team up against the big crocodile man. Bast uses the last of her strength to get rid of Sobek and ends up discorporated, or whatever you call it when gods sort of die. Now we just have a cat. There's still 2 giant magic crocodiles though, so it's a good thing that our boy, Philip of Macedonia, is here to save the day. And also, Uncle Amos is here, I guess.
Yeah, but we got some stuff going on with him, maybe. We were told not to trust him. So
yeah, but that was from Zia, who is part of the faction that would like us to be dead, so
but we liked her. She was cool.
We do
so
like Zia.
It's unclear what's going on.
Unclear.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, Carter did bring that up again at the beginning of the chapter.
Yeah, this
episode, good thing to keep in mind. This chapter
is a lot of crocodiles and shit.
There are crocodiles. Sure, a lot of crocodiles. That's the alternate title, is the crocodile chapter.
Wait. Carter Kane, Crocodile Hunter.
Good.
I think that's the alternate title for me. All right. Let's talk about the things. In case you missed it. Let's talk about Sobek. He was here. He was in the chapter. He's kind of important.
So I just opened the wiki page to look at it with Charlie, and he looks so kindly, actually, in his portrait here. I don't know. He has kind eyes.
He does have kind eyes, though, right? Like, what's up with that? That's not cool.
He's just like the world's calmest crocodile man, actually.
He's the world's okayest dude, just in general, okay?
Oh, but this statue has like angry crocodile eyes. The one that like is like next on the page.
Well, I think that's because those are crocodile eyes, and the ones on the picture look more like people eyes. So like,
yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. All right. So Sobek, also known as Sukos, I want to say is how you say it, not Suckus, which was originally what I wanted to do.
Right.
It's a U. So
I looked at it and I immediately had to like hold my tongue and not start laughing because it does look like Suckus.
Yeah, but I believe it's supposed to be Sukos because like there's a thing here that's Romanized or whatever. It's S. So it's spelled SUCHUS, but the Romanized is SOUCHOS. So I'm like, okay, I think that's how you want to pronounce it then, based off of that.
Right. You are definitely correct, but also, what if you were like, hey, have you ever heard of the Egyptian god Suckus? And people would be like, who's Suckus? Yeah. And you'd be like,
what's he sucking?
Suckus these nuts. I don't know.
Suckus these nuts.
I mean, there's definitely something. Okay.
There's stuff going on with this man. Like, we learned in the chapter that he's like the lord of all water and sweat. All the rivers are his sweat. So like, yeah. There's some weird shit going on with this man and his fluids already. So if he also sucks you, you know, there's shit going on here. So he is, apparently he has like a very complex and elastic history in Egyptian stuff, is like what it immediately says here. But he's the crocodile-headed god. Sometimes he's also just a crocodile, because, you know, they do that. He is associated with pharaonic power, like the power of the pharaoh, fertility, military prowess, and he's a protective deity, with, okay, I can never pronounce this word, but it's apotropaic qualities is what it's saying. So like, you know, magic that like wards off like certain things, like, you know, you put like you do like a salt circle or something like to ward off like spirits or some shit. Like that's what apotropaic means. Basically is like the evil eye or other stuff like that, like good luck charms, rabbit's foot, what and like you. Protective stuff. Yeah, so he's like a protective deity, apparently. Interesting.
They sort of address it in the chapter. They do a thing of being like, you're supposed to serve the king with us. And he's like, that guy is dead and everybody sucks. And so now I'm doing the chaos thing.
Apparently. Also, this is very cool. There's a fossil named after him.
Nice.
The Spinosaurus? Like, I guess is named after him somehow. That's cool. Love it. It's also apparently here in Chicago, so I should go see that and be like, hey, look, Sobek, word.
Hell yeah.
All right. First off, I just want to look at this guy and be like, what the fuck is going on with, like, he's got so much going on his, like, his image here. Like, we have the you know, the normal male god body, and then he's got his crocodile head, and then he's got the ram horns coming out of that. And then there's a sun disk, there's feathered plumes, and the tiny little snakes that also have tiny sun discs on them. It's like so many things.
It's a sick crown, man. It's very good.
It's a crown, but it's also like, it's a lot. It's a very detailed crown going on here. And this is like apparently a classic thing that he's associated with. So, yeah, his only symbol is a crocodile, and his parents are either Khnum and Neith, or Set, presumably and Neith maybe. But yeah, okay, so Set might be his dad. Interesting.
Yeah, that could be a connection maybe that Rick is pulling on.
Yeah, and he's got 2 kids, both goddesses, whose names I don't know if I want to try to say. Let's see. Rennen Nuet and Meskinet. There we go. This is what happens when someone creates a language that does not have vowels. It is very hard. All right. So he's a very old deity. He's been around since the time of like the Old Kingdom, and he's okay. There's a text in like the pyramid text, the Old Kingdom, that says that the pharaoh is a living incarnation of the crocodile god. Which okay, there's a lot going on there because like weren't they like Osiris? Weren't they Horus? Or yeah, and weren't they Ra? Like and now I guess they're Sobek too. There's some stuff going on here. It's also possible his name is related to the verb for impregnate. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm going back to his name again. And there's just too many jokes that could be made here. But this has not been that episode, so we're not doing that today. Okay, so in the 12th dynasty, the Middle Kingdom, this is when he undergoes his very important change where he's fused with Horus. Okay. That's probably where, because Horus does have a crocodile version where it's like a crocodile with like a falcon head or some shit. That's a version of Horus that does exist. So that's probably where that comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And like he gets more involved with like the kings of Egypt based on that.
And then it looks like he transitions into Sobek Ra later.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 'cause he's got his solar deity stuff from Horus, and then so there's Sobek Ra and there's Sobek Horus. Interesting. Why? What is going on here?
You know, sometimes when we read things, you can just tell that we are like not actually getting the cultural stuff. Like, I'm sure that all of the like god fusions like made sense if you were actually there.
I think this is just where we need to like, you know, talk about this as if it's Steven Universe, where like the gods are fusing into a new being, and that's just a thing, and you know it's an experience. Okay, Sobek Ra, Sobek Horus, they're experiences.
That is probably a valid way for us to interpret this through our modern lens, but also I feel like we are not getting the actual cultural context.
No, I mean, like, it's telling us that, like, it's because they're associated with very similar things as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I said, there's the statue of, like, the Sobek, is it Sobek Hara or is it Sobek Horus? I think it's Sobek Ra. But again, it's like the crocodile with the falcon head that also has, like, the Egyptian headdress and everything. So there's just, I don't know, there's things going on. It's interesting. And I don't know words for anything. So his character.
Right.
He's aggressive and vicious, apparently.
Yeah,
that's
he's a crocodile guy. If you live in Egypt, those things are fucking dangerous.
Ooh, okay, his epithets. He who loves robbery. He who eats while he also mates.
Mm-hmm.
And pointed of teeth.
Yeah.
I love it. Sometimes they just have like very interesting vibes, these gods. Okay, so because he's associated with Horus, he also becomes associated with the Osiris and Isis, like the whole triad of gods. Also, maybe are they relating his name somehow to this relation to them? Okay.
So some people say it's the to impregnate thing, like you said earlier. Other people are saying it could be read as maybe to unite. So like he was associated with like all of these main gods, including Isis, and so he also could have been the one who united the dismembered limbs of Osiris.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here, and I was saying, I don't really get it, but also it's cool.
I mean, maybe that means again he's supposed to be like more. He's supposed to be siding with, you know, our main guys, but today he just chose violence. So.
Right. Well, so he has these animalistic, aggressive connotations, and then he's also, like, very benevolent and a protective figure, and, like, maybe that came later when he started being associated with these other people, but, like, he's supposed to be cool.
Yeah, like he protects the innocent and everything. Also, they have this tradition, apparently, where they would preserve crocodiles as mummies. Because, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure they did that with cats too. Because, you know, it's the god, but that's also just an animal. Poor animal. Okay, Sobek is offered mummified crocodile eggs. Just a very interesting sentence. And that has something to do with his solar aspects, the cyclical nature and everything.
Okay.
Very cool.
So the next paragraph after that is fascinating because it also relates to like the thing in the book that we are always doing, which is they would raise crocodiles as living incarnations of Sobek and then mummify those ones specifically because they're like manifestations of the god. And that is fascinating.
Yeah.
That makes the whole muffin thing feel like very valid. Like maybe they were doing this with Bast also, like raising cats who were Bast.
Yeah. And this is, I guess, supposed to emphasize his protective and nurturing aspects because, like, they're like little baby crocodiles and everything. And he protects the Egyptian people like a crocodile protects his young.
Right.
I guess
they keep their young like in their mouths and like hide them in there. And so the mummified ones have like little baby ones in there. And it's like a whole thing.
Interesting.
I do love the pictures of him where he's a whole crocodile because the way that he is depicted, he looks so little and cute.
Oh, I like this one where he's just a crocodile, but he's got the human eyes still. So he doesn't look as menacing.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. He just looks so cute to me with his little legs.
You know what? Crocodiles are just cute, okay? That's the new stance of this podcast. Crocodiles are cute. Leave them alone.
Crocodiles are cute and sweet and they love their babies. I mean, what else could you want?
Listen, we just like some big ass reptiles here, okay?
I mean, that's very true.
Okay, I'm still not seeing the thing about his sweat being the rivers of the world, but it is said,
you would think that would come up if that was a thing.
He arose from the primal waters, I guess, of a very specific lake, Lake Moeris. Okay, just like some other primordial gods apparently in creation myths. Just what's going on with
come up elsewhere in the wiki? That's really weird.
What's going on with Rick being like, oh yeah, he's like the water deity actually, because I'm not seeing a whole lot of that here. I want to know where he got that from. Was he just like, I need a water god. I don't have Percy here, so
okay. I'm seeing it on other sources as like a thing. It's just straight up not on the wiki though.
Okay. So Wikipedia was just like, nah, that's not important actually. I mean, it does say that specifically like his protectiveness is protecting people from like the natures or the dangers of like the Nile and such. So, like, I guess that's like watery stuff, but wait, what? Sorry, I just scrolled and then I saw like one word and I'm like, what is happening? Why does it say Lord of Seamen?
Oh, I mean, we know that he fucks. Like, it's come up several times.
I mean, suckus, but...
Are you telling me he's fucking and sucking?
He is fucking and sucking. Okay, so there's the specific text that I said earlier. Okay, it says Unis, whoever that is Sobek, green of plumage, with alert face and raised for the splashing one who came from the thigh and the tail of the great goddess in the sunlight. Unis has appeared as Sobek neath sun. Unis will eat with his mouth. Unis will urinate, and Unis will copulate with his penis. Unis is Lord of Seamen, who takes women from their husbands to the place Unis likes according to his heart's fancy. What the fuck is this statement? I don't even know if I'm saying that name right. Like,
apparently he'll fuck your wife, though.
More important things that should have been, more described on this wiki. Like, what's going on with the fucking his wife shit? What the wiki takes from that is that, yeah, he's like the pharaoh. And I'm like,
no, that also makes sense though. That is shit that the pharaoh does. He's in charge.
Yeah, this is some Gilgamesh shit. Like, oh yeah, like I have to be the first one to lay with your wife, even though it's your wedding night. It's me who gets to do it first. But I'm just like, okay. Again, cultural context.
Yeah,
that we're just,
it feels like what they're talking about there is like ultimate masculinity. Like Sobek is the masculine god.
Maybe that's why his name means to impregnate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the chapter. because I have nothing more to say here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here that we're not equipped to get into, apparently.
Okay, let's talk about Bast keeping a promise. All right, Carter is waking up, and we're here. We're at a place. I guess he fell asleep on the RV's couch because he was just so bored. I mean, wouldn't you too? And you know who's giving him a great hairdo right now? Our boy Kufu.
As you do, as monkey do.
He's just like, I'm gonna eat all the buggies in your hair. Which I guess maybe Carter has a bunch of bugs in his hair right now because they've been a lot of freaking places. So
I don't know about all that, but
they've been all over. Have they showered in like days?
Maybe not. Well, yeah. It really hasn't been that long since this whole thing began.
I'm assuming the last time that they could have showered is maybe Christmas Day, and it's been at least 2 days since that. But we also don't know if they even did, so it could be at least 3 days.
That's not that long, though. I mean, it's not pleasant. It's not that long, though.
Get pretty stanky if you're running from monsters and sweating constantly.
No, that's true. Though. That's true. And if you're like a teen, puberty and whatnot.
Exactly. That's 2 to 3 days of puberty and anxiety and running stank. So
did they ever? Yeah, they've been wearing the same clothes that whole time also. Not ideal.
They have. Just saying. At least bare minimum they have been eating. That's what matters. So yeah, Sadie's making fun of it. But he's got a great hairdo. Thank you, Kufu.
And he mentions that he had a nightmare about Amos while he was sleeping, but doesn't remember it.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's clearly not plot relevant since we didn't get a whole chapter about it at all. We're not in Phoenix, but it looks kind of like it. It's deserty and mountainy. Yeah, it's Texas.
It's fucking El Paso, bro. Do you know where El Paso is?
Clearly it's near the border.
It sure fucking is. It's on the Panhandle. Anyways, El Paso. Not to like dox myself on our podcast, I was born there.
I was gonna say, I know you're technically from Texas, so like shit. I don't know anything.
I was born in fucking El Paso, broski.
There you go.
That is right near the military base.
Guys, Raye was born in that very river where they met Sobek. Clearly. They were just a little crocodile baby.
Yeah, my ass is technically Texan. I don't know if y'all knew this about me.
Just like Rick Riordan.
Oh yeah, that must have come up when we were covering that book, right?
It did. It definitely did. You were just like, yeah, this is normal Texas shit. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. I love that Sadie's like, we're on the moon, because it's just like, it's desert shit. There's no one here. What's happening? And Bast is like, this is the best spot to summon Nephthys. Why? Water. She's a water goddess. It's probably the best idea.
There's a river, there's swamp area in a desert area. Apparently that's like a thing for her. And also for crocodiles. Not generally in real life in El Paso, but in this book, it's a thing.
I was gonna say, I don't think there are any crocodiles in the US. I'm pretty sure that's alligators, right? Right?
I mean, they got alligators in Florida. I would not make that statement because I don't know enough about crocodiles and alligators to confirm that.
I was gonna say, I think that's like the one thing I know about them is that I'm pretty sure the US, it's alligators and not crocodiles. But I could be wrong. I thought I got that right.
Sorry, there are totally American crocodiles.
Well, then I know nothing. I don't even know the difference between these things. So like, people need to educate better, clearly.
I know that they have different snout shapes, and I don't remember which one looks like what. Crocodile.
All I know is that both of their snouts are boopable, and that's all that matters.
Hello everybody. Welcome back for us specifically. We just had some technical issues. We're actually recording this like second half of the episode several days later. So
my internet just died in the middle of recording.
We might repeat jokes or something like.
I don't remember any jokes we made.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, where the fuck are we?
We're in El Paso, Texas. We just said that. Okay? God. But you know what we're looking for? We're looking for a river because Nephthys is a river goddess, and we're gonna try to summon her because we need Set's secret name and all that shit. We think she might, help us because she sided against Set before, so we're hoping, maybe. I love that Bast parked them on top of a mountain because, she's a cat.
Because cats like to be high up, yeah.
Every time that Orzo wants to jump on top of the fridge, I'll think about Bast. Absolutely. Same vibe. Isn't that like a thing with cats? Like whoever's the highest on like the cat tower is supposed to be like the
is it?
My brain is like dominance. Like we go up high for dominance, but like that's not the word. The top cats, the hierarchy of cats somehow being higher than the other ones means that you're in charge.
Telling me that Lion King is literal, and when cats look down on stuff, they're like, everything the light touches is yours.
I'm pretty sure it actually is. I'm pretty sure this is correct. I don't know. I don't yet own a cat of my own. It will happen. Okay? And once it happens, that's all I'm going to talk about. So, Horace remembers this place. That's weird.
And Carter's like, you've literally never been here. But apparently it has some very specific vibes.
Yeah, it's the desert, there's the marsh, So we're walking down the mountain and Carter's realizing, I have been here before. In that dream, with Isis and young Horace and Set. Fuck.
And Carter is having a very bad feeling that something is about to go bad down here, and no one is listening to him.
Yeah, he's trying to tell Bast, the cat goddess, to stay away from the water.
And she is like, Carter, I'm literally a cat.
Listen, she's not a tiger. Tigers are the ones that like to swim, okay? They didn't have tigers in Egypt. It's very sad.
And Sadie is just like, seems safe and heads down there. Khufu is listening to Carter, but yeah, they're boys.
I mean, all Sadie does is throw a rock at it, and she's like, that's fine. Like, the water's, normal water to me.
I mean, it's not a terrible test. Something could have jumped out and been fucked up when she threw a rock in it, but it's not a comprehensive test.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not comprehensive. But Bast says there's like this ancestral memory that the river is, for Khufu specifically, that it's a dangerous place in Egypt. Snakes, hippos, all sorts of things. Hippos are deadly. Did you know this?
I knew this. Hippos. I hope our audience also knows this, that hippos are like, they love to kill people.
You should go hug them, everybody. Go hug a hippo, okay? Certifiable. Hippos are fine. But, yeah. Carter's like, did hippos, like, attack? Did Set use them to attack Horus before? And Bass is like, no hippos, but he used scorpions and crocodiles. Okay, are there crocodiles in Texas? Do we know about this?
So I googled it last time if there were any American crocodiles, and there definitely are, because we were wondering about that. But I don't know where they reside. I would assume not Texas.
Okay. Let me look up the crocodile. Well, I can't spell. Thank you. Crocodile. Da, 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 da. Oh, where's the cute little map? Why doesn't this Wikipedia have a cute little map? I like it when they do that.
It's like opening paragraph, and it's just like South Florida and then Central and South America.
I thought Florida was alligators.
They definitely have alligators, but also apparently very far south, a few crocodiles.
I know there's a difference. I don't know what it is, but I know there's a difference between the two.
They're different creatures. It's fine.
It's chill.
So we've been talking this whole time about like some of the choices that Rick has made about like who is villainous and who is like doing what. It literally just now occurred to me that we're doing the fucking Set and Horus rivalry the same way that we do a specific story in Percy Jackson. We literally did Scorpion Woman earlier. Now we're gonna do Crocodile Man. Like, I mean...
You're just getting this?
Yes, I'm an idiot, and I've never actually... Thanks, bro! Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was fun. if you had known and thought about this the whole time, why didn't you point it out the whole time we've been wondering why these specific people, huh?
I thought it was too obvious for that. I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
I thought every time that I brought up, like, oh yeah, like, Set and Horus, they, like, fought a bunch of battles, and eventually Set was overtaken. Like, is that not just the plot of this book?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
We've already had, like, we've already had inklings about... Oh,
it's
Carter...
so much less personal for the two of them. It does not have the same vibe at all, because Carter has nothing to do with Set. That's not his family. And, you know...
But they have, Set has taken,
their
you
father,
know, his dad, so there's that going into it. There's the whole Isis, Horus, and Osiris, like, triad going on there.
Like, there's been a whole thing about the book and as, like, cycles of, like, these stories and, like, the way that they happen over and over. Like, I got that, but I wasn't making the connection that it was, like, directly the same incidents.
I mean, we've also, like, had some foreshadowing about, you know, Carter and Horus and Pharaoh stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like, again, that's what the story is. Right. It's very much like one of those, like, mirroring of the actual myths. The adaptation of a myth, but, like, in a different Rick way. Bast is just here. She's not exactly related to that threat necessarily. I'm trying to remember if each book, like, perfectly maps onto one of those kinds of stories. I know this one does, and I know the second one does. I don't remember the third one quite as well. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, it would make sense given the way that the first series played out. But also, so I have, like, I don't know, I guess I do feel stupid, like, saying this, but, like, I hadn't really noticed that thing until we did this podcast. Like, I didn't know what stories the different Percy books were based off of, because it's not stated in the text except for how it sort of is. But like, I didn't know that, like, things that Perseus went through. I feel like the second book is the most obvious because the Odyssey is such, like, a huge thing, and you know about, like, the Cyclops, if you know anything. But, like, even then, it's like, oh, we're, like, referencing these things that Odysseus did. That's, like, fun. But, like, I had never made the connection that, like, it was laid out in, like, this very specific way.
That's fair. I mean, I don't think I really had figured out, like, what you're talking about till we did the podcast either. Like, there's something when you're going through it, like, this slowly and you're interpreting it, that, like, goes into all of that, you know?
Yeah. So I literally did not notice that it was happening until just now. Well, also because, like, I don't know this myth at all, like, besides, like, the very little wiki skimming we've done.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. The basics we did have down, but like, I mean, like, we already mentioned, like, the whole, like, the scorpions and the crocodiles and all of that shit that, like, Bast is talking about, how it's coming back, it's happening again, blah 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 blah. But, like, we don't know there's, like, a lot going on in the very specific Horus versus Set myths that we didn't really get into, just because it's a lot. Yeah, which is why I'm like,
some of the most interesting things are not things that we're gonna be doing, like the weird, like, drug and rape shit.
It's hard to do that in children's media. Like, why do you think he changed Medusa? So, you know? But yeah, it's very fun. It's very fun to interpret. And that's why, like, with, like, the first Percy Jackson book being, like, a Perseus myth, that's why it actually is very important for Gabe to be there. And, like, the whole, like, him turning, or Gabe eventually being turned to stone by, it's Sally in that version of, like, adaptation. But in the Perseus myth, he comes home and he's supposed to be bringing this Medusa head back for the guy who's trying to marry his mom. Like, he's doing this as a gift for that guy who's like, get the fuck out of my hair, I'm trying to get with your mom, go on a fetch quest. And what does he do? He kills the guy because this guy's been a jerk the whole time. He was like, you tricked me, you said you were gonna marry somebody else, and you're actually wearing my mom? fuck you, bro. So like it's very important for like the adaptation of the Perseus myth that Gabe and the Turning to Stone is in there, actually.
Bro, I had no fucking idea. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, all you people who wanted that taken out of the Percy Jackson, like, TV show, like, Gabe is, like, so not important, and, like, his Turning to Stone, it's just like the movie, and I'm like, okay, but it's fucking important to the myth, and this is an adaptation of the myth, first and foremost, actually.
But see, there's probably, like, a lot of readers who have absolutely no idea, because I fucking didn't.
That's true, but I'm like, if you want to like be that person who's like teaching this in like one of your classes or something, like as an English teacher, which Rick was, you can bring that into it and have like a whole essay on how it's quite literally Perseus's journey and all of that. So,
anyways,
sorry,
cool.
that I'm very passionate about like the Lightning Thief and how like that's a Perseus adaptation. So
yeah, that was quite the tangent for us. I mean, still on topic for this series, but
yeah, it's still Rick Riordan stuff.
You kind of blew my fucking mind. I had no idea, man.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you did not know all of that before. But yeah, it's very cool. Very good. Okay, so we're trying to summon Nephthys. That's what we're doing.
But yeah, the way that this is written, like, I am like, it's exciting, the bad feeling that Carter is getting and how it connects to Horace and whatnot. Before I was just like whatever about it, and now I think it's cool because he can literally tell that there's about to be crocodiles.
Crocodiles. Yeah, like, it's almost as if all these characters, if they realized they were in a mythology book, perhaps they could just read the source and understand what's coming next. Maybe. Perhaps. Just saying.
Okay, so they're busy trying to commune with Nephthys. And then we get to this part where a family is crossing the border into America. How do we feel about this?
I mean, Carter's being a bro about it. He's just like, I'm not looking. Like, you guys are doing your own business. I'm doing my own business. Okay? Cool? We cool.
Yeah. It does feel like a weird addition to this children's book in some ways, because it's not something that's like a major part of the themes that we're super gonna dive into. It's just, you know, these are really just civilians to be put in peril in this scene. But like, it does, you know, make a point about Rick's politics in some kinds of ways of like, you know, when people are having a really hard time and trying to like find refuge in another country, I think you should leave them alone.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like Rick, a guy from Texas, like, near the border of Mexico, would, like, you know, this kind of stuff would come up in his like, life, probably more, but I'm always very glad when some of, like, Rick's politics actually, like, seep into the books, and you know that, like, wow, he, like, cares about, like, refugees, he cares about the environment, he cares about all these different things, he cares about disability, like,
yeah,
he
tries to make a point of this kind of thing, especially because I feel like he is very aware of, you know, his very young audience and that he wants to be a good role model for those people.
Yeah. I also almost wonder if, like, this family crossing the border, like, is kind of supposed to mirror the, like, the scene the Carter saw before as well, because, you know, it's like parents and a child, like, hiding away from this monster in the water.
Yeah, that might be something. Yeah, it feels a little bit weird to me, and I can't exactly articulate why. It's like, because these people are like very specifically described but aren't really part of things, it feels like almost tokenistic in like kind of a weird way. But like, I don't think that it's like inherently problematic, and like, if there are criticisms to be made, it would need to be made by like someone who is much more knowledgeable than me. But yeah,
need to be made by someone who is not two white people. So yeah. But like, Sadie's summoning Nephthys because, you know, it's Isis's sister, so maybe she'll talk to her potentially. And okay, we're hearing some like a little bit of her voice. It's very faint.
This scene is so interesting to me that we're getting this secondhand when, you know, it could be from Sadie's perspective, but it's not.
We've already had 2 Sadie chapters, so we gotta have it in Carter's POV. And also, like, it would kind of suck if we were in Sadie's POV, because then, like, oh, I got hit on the head.
Yeah, so, I mean, the rest of this chapter, I just mean this very specific scene that, like, you know, we don't know what it's like to talk to Nephthys, and maybe it's gonna be elucidated later.
Perhaps, maybe. But we get, like, one word that she is, like, sheltered. Very cool. She's sheltered far away.
And a sleeping host.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Not a clue.
But not important right now because Khufu is like, something's happening. Look, the family's gone. There's something in the water. And Carter's, like, trying to tell them, but they're like, shush.
Yeah, they're very busy.
We're at a library.
Listening very hard. And so Carter's like, fine, you know, an entire family just disappeared and could be in mortal danger, so I guess I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah. Him and Khufu are just gonna go do some shits. And he's like, where could they be? We're just going through the water. And then he sees them hiding in a clump of reeds. He's like, I'm not gonna hurt you. No habla español. And then he realizes he made a mistake. Because
they
he's
are
in
not
the
hiding
water.
from him. They are hiding from, you know, the thing that is about to attack him, which is in fact an enormous fucking crocodile.
That's such a good trope when that happens, though, right? Like, when you go to try to...
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Well, I mean, when you go to, like, help somebody, and, like, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna hurt you, and it's like, no, the big scary thing.
Right.
It's behind
it's a
you.
tension builder.
Specifically. It's like, shit. So, he's shot, like, from a cannon, 30 feet in the air. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, he's good at jumping now.
It's fine. I thought that the crocodile did that. I guess he did that. Or Horace did that.
Yeah, Horace did that.
Cool. Horace saved his life. That's good. He's a flip wizard. He can do shit, you know? Got that acrobatics check. So he's like, Sadie, Bast, come on, we gotta fight this guy. And he, like, throws his wand, doesn't do a whole bunch. Just, like, smacks the crocodile in the face. So,
which gets its attention so that it's not attacking the family anymore. It is going to try to kill him now, though.
Yeah, he got the civilians to safety, and Horace is like, really? Really, kid? Okay, that's a choice.
Yeah, Horace, I forgot about this. He was encouraging Carter to let the family be attacked and use that as a distraction in order to, you know, get the jump on this thing. And Carter is not doing that.
No, because Carter's like, I'm not gonna let these people get hurt just to save my skin. That's not right.
He's a good boy.
He is. Very good.
And it really, you know, makes a point about, like, the callousness of the gods, which is fun. Always fun to me in this kind of media.
Yeah. So he's trying to fight this crocodile. He can't summon his Falcon Warrior because he can't concentrate right now. And he doesn't know what's happening with Bast and Sadie, but all of a sudden Bast is like, no! And shit happened to Sadie. It must have.
It turns out that there are 2 of these damn things.
Yeah. So, like, we get a good magical emotional burst of, like, because, you know, that's my sister.
That's his sister.
Yeah. Bast is fighting another crocodile, and Sadie is, like, laying in a heap on the riverbank, and she's just bleeding.
She's bleeding from her head, right? She's got a head wound.
Yeah. I would assume that's a concussion at this point.
Yeah, she's literally passed out by it while all this shit is going on. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Her health,
I don't know.
man.
I don't know what Khufu's doing, but he's, you know, hanging with Sadie for now. They're like, Khufu, get her out of here. Because, yeah, we don't need the person who's already dying to die faster. And now we see the god himself.
He's so fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, he's a scaly.
He is a scaly. He's really fucking sweaty.
I mean, he explains that later, but he's got the head of a crocodile, the body of, you know, a human person. He's got his black hair, and he's got bull's horns, which, I think we already talked about in the Wikipedia about Sobek. So, Interesting stuff. And he's got a staff. That's pretty cool. And he's doing the weird thing of calling Carter Horace because, yeah.
I mean, as they do. What does that remind me of? When they do that, I guess it makes me think of, like, Steven Universe when they call him Pink.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Except I feel like there's another media where, like, they actually are possessing them and, you know, they talk to the person doing the possessing instead of the person who is in actual ownership of the body. I don't know if there's something that does exactly that, but I feel like I get those vibes. It shows a very little amount of respect for Carter in a way that I find very interesting.
Yeah, they do very much do this. Okay, I'm trying to find like a good image of like what I'm imagining for what this guy looks like. But I mean, honestly, if you just look up like the Crocotopia guys from Wizard 101, that's what I'm imagining. And it's Crocotopia with K's. But like they are this is a whole land in one of my favorite games that is like Egypt based, and most of the people there are like anthropomorphic crocodiles. So that's what I picture Sobek as looking very similar to. But like,
fascinating. This is not what I was imagining for him at all. They have such little limbs. They're very funny.
They're more like crocodile, but if they could stand on two legs.
Yeah, they're anthropomorphic.
As opposed to what Sobek is described as with like human features, but I'm just like, this is the same vibe. You know?
So Horace gives Carter some advice on how to deal with this guy. Don't let him grab you, and face him directly because he only understands strength. And Carter, his good cool line for that is, Sobek, you weakling, how the heck are ya? Which is like such a like funny like thing for him to think is a tough guy thing to say.
If Sobek were a different guy, I feel like he would just be like, oh Horace, you silly boy. Like, I prefer when, you know, like a towering god is just like laughing at the cowering mortal.
Bast comes over and is like, don't let him grab you, and Carter's like, literally Horace just said this to me, which I think is really, really funny. I don't know why.
I mean, it's a Chekhov's gun at this point. You said it twice. Like, it's gonna fucking happen.
Carter's like, leave or we'll destroy you, and Horace is like, great, destroy, love it. And I don't know, that's really charming to me.
He calls Bast a kitty. Like, Sobek calls Bast a kitty. Adorable. Like,
here's the part, I think we already talked about this last time, where Bast is like, why aren't you serving your king? And Sobek's like, Ra's gone and Osiris is dead currently, fuck him.
And he's like, I used to support Horace, but like, this is a child in front of me. He's weak. Set's cooler. So I'm gonna kill you.
Strong, powerful, masculine ruler. That's like a little femboy.
Are you calling Carter a little femboy?
No, but I think Sobek would. Okay, my vibe is so weird today. We need to move on.
Yes. Okay. Horace once again is like, let me take control. It'll work better. And Carter's like, I'll die first. Bro, never say those words.
I mean, I respect it.
Yeah. But he has been grasped by Sobek. And
1 page after being warned twice. Great job, bestie.
Yeah. So that man's gonna drown you, dude. Bruh.
But
don't do that.
So after reaffirming his convictions, he's like, okay, there's like this certain like amount of peace that he finds in the idea that like the worst thing that can happen to him is death. So like if he's already accepted that possibility, then he can give it all he's got. Like, might as well go down fighting is what the line literally is. And like, yeah, it's really cool. I don't know.
It's very good, Carter.
Yeah,
I like it.
So he manages to pull up his avatar and really get into this fight.
Yeah, and he gets out of the water, and Bast is like, oh god, Thank Ra. I was gonna go in after you. I hate water. And this is where we get the famous line from Sobek. My sweat creates the rivers of the world. No wonder this man is so sweaty. I don't like it. That's ugh. But it's mythology. There's always some weird reason for why there's water. It's always gross.
See, no, mythologically it's fine, but like having it like be mentioned in the book and Rick like talking about like how gross and oily his sweat is, it like makes it gross.
It's like, I'll never drink water again. Thanks, Rick. Yeah, so he's going full Percy with how he can, manipulate water and all that shit, right? Ooh.
He is a water guy. So he's attacking them. Bast is also an avatar. They're teaming up against this guy. Not doing a ton, but like, keeping him occupied. But Bast is, not looking great.
Yeah, it's not a great time. I do like Carter being like, why don't we get some minions, Horace? Come on. He gets a bunch of crocodiles. I want some, what would he get? Like cool falcons or something?
Horace is too busy for falcons right now. Carter's avatar breaks. He ends up on the edge of the water. And then Bast says, Carter, get Sadie out of here. And Carter knows exactly what she's about to do, which is really throw herself into this and just like let what happens happens.
What were we just talking about in the last chapter? Like, it was the last chapter when Bast was like, yeah, you guys are like my kittens, and I have to protect you, and all of that. And now she's like, I have to keep my promise to your parents to protect you. That's her job.
There we go.
And last words, and tell your father I kept my promise.
Rick really put some good drama in that. I love it.
I'm glad you like it. I'm not liking it.
She's literally fine. She's just busy right now. Muffin even survived. And all in all, I feel like we made it out pretty okay.
She defeated Sobek, and Muffin is half dead and unconscious. So
she's not even dead, man.
Bast probably used up some energy, saving Muffin.
Aw.
And that's probably like even worse.
She's a goddess though.
But like,
I know this is bad. I'm just saying. She's literally fine.
Fine. We've seen Pan die, okay?
Sobek is no Apophos. And that's all I gotta say about that. Like, her godly essence is, like, literally fine. I am very sure of this. This is the first book of the trilogy. We can't be killing off goddesses yet. I mean, we could, but not if they're main characters.
Fine.
I mean, not that you don't actually know what happens, and not that I do. I'm just saying.
She's my goddess. I'm just worried about her, okay?
I know. No, it does suck.
All right,
this doesn't, like, make me cry or whatever, because I'm like, she's literally fine.
So rude. So mean. And now there's there's still some crocodiles coming.
There sure are. Really unfortunate.
But there's one crocodile that's pure white that's also coming towards them.
It's our boy. I love him so much. Philip is the MVP.
Philip of Macedonia has come back. He survives. Best guy ever. Right here. This is what Rick does. He's like, here, I'm just gonna rip some characters from you, and then I'm gonna give you a new person to latch onto. Cause he did this, like, in the chapter that we left Khufu and Philip, is we got Bast. So
yeah. These kids have really had a lot more adult supervision throughout this whole book than Percy typically gets.
Correct.
We had Amos, we had Desjardins, who was not a good guardian. We had Bast. We have Amos again.
That Khufu and Philip are also adult supervision. I mean, yes, Amos is here. That's not important. But
no, I think you're right. That is their adult supervision.
But yeah, also Philip did come with Uncle Amos. He's back, guys. And guess what? We're not supposed to trust him, is what we were told recently.
That is what they said recently. It's probably fine. I'm sure that is irrelevant.
Yeah, they're There's no such thing as an evil uncle.
So
that's
that,
the chapter.
That was the whole thing. Yeah, we did it.
We did it. We finally did it. It only took us several days. It's
okay.
good.
Plug? I totally even have a plug.
You have a plug?
I do.
Oh my goodness, tell me your plug.
It's the game Tactical Breach Wizards. It's so goddamn funny. It's such a good game. So it's like a strategy game. I've never played a game in this style before, but apparently there are like other games with like Breach in the title, or like XCOM is this sort of thing where you enter a room, you clear the room of enemies, and that's like its own little puzzle that you do with your character's abilities, and then like that's the end of that room and you move on, and that's like the gameplay loop. It's very fun, the way that it's set up. The thing that makes this game so amazingly excellent is that your characters are like special forces wizards. The first guy you get is a Navy seer. Fun little pun there. And so he can like see 1 second into the future, which is very useful for this one specific thing that he does. He's wearing like desert camo, like printed on like a wizard hat. He's got like a staff, but it's got like a silencer on it, and he uses it to shoot lasers at people. It's so good. The flavor, the world building. Yeah, there's a witch who's a private investigator. She's great. But really, this is sort of spoilers for the third character you get, but she's a necromantic, and what the necromantic does is she heals other characters by resurrecting them from the dead. But if they're not dead, then she can't heal them. So when you choose her healing ability, she shoots them in the head. It's so good. It's so fucking funny, man. One of the major like gameplay things that you do is push people out of windows. Like apparently defenestration is like a major theme of this creator's like all of their games. It's so good. Anyways, Tactical Breach Wizards. Fun gameplay, really great writing. It does have a story. Like part of the reason that the world building and like the comedy hits so well is that in universe they take it all very seriously, but like they also have like some of that quippy dialogue that you might expect from like a military kind of thing, where they all kind of joke with each other. It's really, really charming. Yeah, Tactical Breach Wizards. Check it out.
Good shit. I'm gonna redo a plug from a while back, but you know what? I just recently made Abby watch one of my favorite TV shows ever, which is The Librarians.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've made Raye watch 2 episodes for our bonus show. So,
that's a very charming show with some like world building that they take very seriously. Yeah, there are like thematic elements that I can pull between our 2 plugs this time.
It's very fun. It's very good. So fun fact, The Librarian started with 3 movies, and I was like, Abby, you like National Treasure, that's one of your comfort movies, let's watch the Librarian movies, because they're very, like treasure huntery movies. The show is a lot less treasure huntery.
Yeah, more Monster of the Week, like, kind of, investigation.
Yeah,
or that's the impression that I got.
Yeah, but it starts off with like, oh, I need to do like a fet quest and like, solve all these things, do the my brain is forgetting the National Treasure character, the Ben Gates, figuring out all of the things and the clues, and then the TV show came out like 10 years after the movies and expanded on that and was like, hey, we're gonna add more cast, and each of them is gonna have their own thing, so that our main character from the movies kind of becomes obsolete, because he's just like the polymath who knows like everything. But the show is very like, what's the word? It has, when you have like the multiple characters, not community based, but
party,
not quite what I'm thinking of, but like,
right. I didn't think so, but
when there's like a group of characters that's like
and they're
your main,
balanced out, yeah,
and
like,
very balanced out.
Like the trope that comes to mind is like the 5-man band, but I know that that's not the word you're looking for, but
yeah, not quite. There's a word that goes with that when like a show is very like multiple character based, and that's very much what the Librarians tends to do. And we kind of have like a D&D party going on. They even reference that in like an episode where it's like,
oh, that's fun.
Like we have a ranger, we have a sorcerer, we have a rogue, and I guess Baird is like the fighter. I think Jenkins would be like the artificer, and a paladin. How does that work? But regardless, it's very fun, and I just really like the show with how it blends the magic and the science and all the different like mythology and legends and folklore and all of that stuff, and history as well. Like, it's just very good and very cool.
Nice.
I enjoy it. And in fact, one of the seasons is very Egyptian mythology focused. So we may end up coming back to that on the bonus show. It could happen, perhaps. And by our next break, actually, one of our Librarians episodes will be up on the main feed. So
nice. Be
on the lookout for that eventually.
What if you release us from this mortal coil?
I mean, I guess I could. Like, I'm gonna be Sobek. I'm gonna take you under the water, and we're gonna fight it out until you become a half-dead cat on a riverbank. Is that okay with you?
Mutually assured destruction. There's a little homoeroticism to that.
Oh, well.
Okay. On that fucking note, goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, get out of my fucking house. Bye.
Bye.
Of the Eldest Gods would like to thank its $10 and up patrons. This means you're either in the Savior of Olympus tier or the God Complex tier on our Patreon, patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. Thank you all so much for your support, especially Matt, our God Complex patron.
You can follow this podcast's socials at Of the Eldest Gods Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send us a message through the Duat to oftheeldestgodspod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about the Riordanverse or whatever else. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Against All Odds, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll talk about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with mythology, no promises. You can check out our merch store on Redbubble to find custom designs made by Charlie. Or if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. If you want to hear more from me, Raye, check out Barbie Movie Slap, a podcast where my co-host Ted and I discuss Barbie's cinematic universe. That podcast's Twitter is at Barbie Slaps.
You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws. You can also hear my voice on 2 other podcasts. I co-host another podcast on the network with the meme maker Robert called The Bits, where we talk about the Cartoon Network show Steven Universe. I also co-host a non-network podcast with my buddy Ethan called Mysteries in the Machine, where we talk about all things Scooby-Doo. Our music was created and produced by Isabel Strauss-Riggs. You can find Isabel at Kane I, that's I is in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. She also currently makes video essays on the YouTube channel, Kane I. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast.
Of the Eldest Gods is based on the series by Rick Riordan. Right now we are discussing The Kane Chronicles. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcatcher and meet us back here every Thursday.
Do you love to be super scared? Do you enjoy listening to hilarious hot takes on timeless classics? Well, fear not, listeners. I'm here! Welcome to the Super Scary Podcast, where we cover everything from the supernatural to the superpowered. I'm your host, Josh, a scaredy cat nerd who enjoys superhero, sci-fi, and horror movies way too much. Whether I'm processing my trauma from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or reminiscing on the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus, my guests and I have a hilarious time going through our favorite and sometimes not so favorite moments. I'm your friend till the end, listeners, because everyone's entitled to one super scary podcast. We post weekly episodes on Mondays, and you can find us at Super Scary Podcast on all the socials. See you in the afterlife, listeners.
Are we ready to cry in this chapter? Are you ready?
I'm normal, actually.
You're normal? Why
Yeah.
are you normal?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm just have a heart of stone, actually, in general.
Wow. I mean, you are following the Earth Guard, so like, maybe that means something. I don't know, man.
Dave X Media.